So what's the problem? Well, I'm sure everyone here, I'm sure we've all done numerous upgrades. And when it comes to performance, typically you'll find that 90% of your SQLs run the same before and after, perhaps 9% run better, and for 1% of your SQLs, performance drops through the floor following the upgrade. And if you are unfortunate, it's those few SQLs that regress, they're the ones that matter. Now, why would SQL's performance degrade and upgrade? Well, typically, there's two reasons. As you go through the releases of Oracle, you get dramatically different, you get enhancements and changes made to the cost-based optimizer. The cost-based optimizer is continually improving, being improved, new algorithms, new techniques. Now, Oracle has a group of people with brains the size of planets working on optimization algorithms. So as you upgrade, you will get different versions of the optimizer, different capabilities. You will get it generating different execution plans for the same SQL. Another reason for plans changing unexpected results is to do with statistics. The techniques for gathering statistics change quite dramatically as you go through the releases. The first example I'm going to give you shortly demonstrates a problem, a potential problem caused by the way statistics gathering changed between release 11 and release 12, for instance. So changes to the optimizer can result in execution plan changes. Statistics as well can cause the optimizer to react in a very different way.
John, I have a question. Is it typically safe to apply an RU, or is that introducing potentially the same problems as an upgrade?
Theoretically, an RU is going to be safe. Theoretically. Remember, an RU should just be a whole bunch of patches bundled up together and fully integration tested. Unfortunately, I'm sure some of the people here will be aware of the fact RUs can sometimes cause problems. And that's why within SkillBuilders, within our technical team, we decided quite recently that we're not going to apply RUs. There's too much possibility for problem. We're going to apply RURs. So instead of release updates, we apply the release update revisions. Now, RUs can sometimes cause problems on these lines. The release update revision, published worst case 3 months later, should get rid of any of them. So the answer is, theoretically, RUs are okay. I've decided to go for the RURs instead.
Great, thank you, John. Folks, any questions on RU versus RURs? Just go ahead and chat them in. Back to you, John.
Now, the way to stabilize your system through the upgrade process is through baselining. It isn't incidentally just stabilizing through upgrade process. It can stabilize your system through gathering statistics, through parameter changes, through platform changes. Convert your system from single instance on Windows to a 4-node rack on AIX. Baselining can stabilize your system through all those changes. It's also known as SQL Plan Management, SPM, and the API is called, indeed, DBMS SPM. So what's the issue and why do we need SQL Plan Management? It's because Oracle does dynamic SQL parsing. Just to make sure we're all on the same page of the manual, as it were, what is dynamic parsing? A statement hits the optimizer. If the statement is not found in the library cache of the shared pool, the optimizer develops an execution plan. This is the hard parse. That plan will be based on information available to the cost-based optimizer at the time the parse is done. That information will be information such as object statistics, information about the objects being addressed by the statement, system statistics, some other factors as well, current state of the environment. It is also dependent during the parse on whatever optimization algorithms are available for your exact release of the database. Now, this dynamic parsing should be a good thing. It means you get the best plan that the current version of the product can produce for the current state of your data. However, it does mean that plans can change unexpectedly following upgrade. That is by design. It's meant to be a good thing, but it can go wrong. SQL Plan Management, baselining, uses baselines to ensure that any changes will be checked to ensure that they are for the best. So, what does it do? Well, a baseline is a stored execution plan. You parse the statement, generate an execution plan, run the statement. If at any time in the future, for example, after an upgrade, the cost-based optimizer comes up with a new plan, that plan is blocked. So you capture the execution plan and use it. Generate a new plan, you block it. Your SQLs continue to run with the previously generated plan. That stabilizes the system. And that will prevent problems following upgrade. But it will also prevent improvements following upgrade. You've not merely stabilized the system, you've frozen it. And that's where the concept of evolution comes in. The evolve process tests those new plans. It tests them to see, are they better or are they worse? And if the new plan is a regressing plan and cause the SQL performance to degrade, it is permanently blocked. If, however, the evolution process realizes the new plan is an improvement, then it can be brought into use. So that's what baselining is. You stabilize your system by capturing and storing execution plans. Any new plans come up are blocked until they are tested through the evolution process. So yes, you delay improvements until plans have been evolved, but you permanently delay regression.
A few questions in the queue, John. PSU versus RU, are they the same thing?
I think they are. It's that continuous messing about with naming of these things. You know, we've had PSUs, CPUs, SPUs, bundle patches. Now they call them RUs. The only real significant difference I'm aware of is that the RU isn't just a bunch of patches that are integration tested. It will also change your release number. An RU will take you from 19.6 to 19.7, for instance, which the PSUs didn't. But for practical purposes, they are indeed the same thing.
You know, Oracle advertises, seems to, that the database, new versions of the database will come in with improved performance, pretty much a standard sales tactic. So, you know, why is it that upgrades cause mostly performance issues?
They don't cause most, they don't necessarily do it. You might do many upgrades and have no issues at all. And remember the way I crudely described it 5 minutes ago. You upgrade, 90% of your SQLs run the same, 9% run better, 1% degrade. You might never even notice that any SQLs have gone bad. As a general rule, upgrade is a good thing. But we're all IT professionals. General rules aren't good enough. You know, there's always the possibility of things going wrong. And just because 99% of your code is perfect or improved doesn't mean that your end users won't suffer for the 1% that's gone bad.
As you said, John, Oracle has used many, many different names for RUs, like, for example, CPU and PSU. Are the RUs announced and delivered quarterly?
Yeah, they come out quarterly. And so the release updates are quarterly. The last one was April. The RURs, the release update revisions, are also released quarterly. So typically the January RU was indeed released in January. Then the April RU was released in April, and the January RUR was also released in April. And that's the one we applied to most of our production systems. Yeah, so we applied the January RUR in April rather than the actual April RU.
Thank you, John. Back to you.
Okay, so baselining in general. Moving on from there, just a brief mention here. I hate talking about money because I'm not very good with it. And Well, if I understood licensing, I'd be a salesman and rich instead of a poor technician. However, I want to mention a bit about the licensing issues for baselining, because it's been changing through the releases. When first introduced in release 11, baselining was Enterprise Edition only. Enterprise Edition only. And that meant that for Standard Edition, you had to use stored outlines. Stored outlines came in with release 8 point something. I've been using them for decades. But stored outlines were officially deprecated when baselines came in. But to use baselines, you had to have Enterprise Edition licenses. Now, in release 12, there was more functionality added to the baselining mechanism, but that functionality required Enterprise Edition plus the tuning pack. And to this day, for the full functionality of SQL Plan baselining, you do need Enterprise Edition plus the tuning pack. It allows complete automation of the whole process. And using a purely declarative technique, which I will demonstrate, we can ensure that performance will never degrade. And you don't have to use your brain. You just let Oracle get on with it. Using engineered systems, particularly Exadata, there's even more functionality. However, in the current release, release 12 and later, baselining is available in Standard Edition as well, but with certain limitations. So I'm not familiar with exactly what all the limitations are, so I'm not any sort of licensing expert. But the general approach to take is full functionality, Enterprise Edition plus the pack. Without the pack, the DBA has to do a bit more work. With SE2, he has to do a bit more work still. I would like to emphasize this point, by the way. Without the facilities, the tuning pack and the rest of it, you can still get all the functionality. It's just that your DBA has to use his brain to make it work. And within SkillBuilders, we are very good at getting Enterprise Edition type functionality out of SE2 environments. Nearly everything you can get with the tuning pack, you can do the hard way, going through APIs, using your brain. But just bear in mind, there's some licensing issues here. What I'm going to demonstrate, by the way, will be the full functionality of Enterprise Edition plus tuning pack.
Quick question, John. If Enterprise Edition does the plan evolution automatically, then is there no need for baselining or SPM for it?
You have to enable the mechanism. You have to enable it, and then you can let Oracle get on with it. But the enabling process still has to be done by the DBA. He just doesn't have to worry about it subsequently.